Hi everyone, good morning. We will begin in just about 5 minutes, waiting for more people to join in. Yeah, and welcome to the event. We'll begin shortly. I hope everyone is ready with their Android Studio and their KMM. All right, people. I guess it's time to finally begin, and I've sent out the final reminders to everyone. So it's exciting that we are getting in line with doing events on almost every other weekend. I would not call it an event, but a session, an informative session where we learn a lot of things together. So if you can hear me, just say yes or a thumbs up or anything in the chat. Okay, now it says yes. Mohit says yes, everyone is yes. Great. Everyone is with a lot of energy. It's otherwise it's tough to get people to talk in the chat and send out messages. So what is it going to be about today? Before that, welcome and thank you so much for joining in on a Saturday. I know Saturdays and Sundays are lazy. So usually we are taking our time to get up to get our mental systems booted up and everything. But again, when there is a lot of knowledge flowing around, and when there are experts teaching us, it's always good to get connected, increase our network, and hopefully, as someone said in the chat, that you know we might meet offline soon. Things are in the pipeline, so super excited for that. Okay, about today's agenda. Now, the most exciting thing that you've been waiting for me to announce, I'll still take some time to announce that. How will it work and all of that? But the more and the most important thing and the more exciting part would be that you will be able to complete an app using KMM. Now, what is KMM? How does it work and everything? I guess I'm not the expert for that, but in just basics, as far as I understand from Mohit, is that you can use a single code base to build a native application for both iOS and Android, and that too without having any compromise on the performance issues that come up with when you're using a web framework to write a mobile application. So I guess that will help us a lot. So Sagar says, I can't see chat through some from me or others. I guess Sagar, you can refresh and rejoin. That should work. One thing that as a permission, as a community that we've added to the platform is that everyone can see all the buttons of flagging, replying, liking, and deleting. Do not delete anyone else's messages. That is up to me. I am the moderator, exercising my organizer powers. Uh, Otherwise, I'll have to remove you from the room, which is another power that is there as the platform gives me. So let it be a free flow of things. Be respectful for everyone who's around, and be respectful to the speaker. Ask good questions. I know bad questions is nothing, but ask questions, as many of them as you want. We have the facility to invite you on the stage and get you to share your screen if you are able to complete it alongside and build things alongside us. And now, coming to the t-shirts, we are, as we are moving to offline, we are also trying to give out some goodies through online sessions as well. Fortunately, now this was not mentioned anywhere. There are two sets of t-shirts available. One is from Realm through Mohit, and Realm is also sponsoring us. So a huge thanks to them. And the other one is from Google itself. There are some Android t-shirts available. So the way how you can get them partly will be for Realm. It will be through Mohit. And how you will get the Android t-shirts, you have to stick along for till at least mid of the session, wherein during the maybe second half of the session, I'll tell you how you can win them. And yes, there are limited numbers, but there are enough numbers that everyone can win at least one t-shirt over here. So don't worry on that. Things are simple. Whatever you are doing in this session, you'll just need to complete that. But how and what happens is a different thing. Okay, now starting with the day. So introducing Mohit. So
Arpan, I'm there. Hello, folks. Can you hear me? Okay, I think so. Arpan got dropped out.
I'm back. I'm back. So yeah, what happened is my Mac took an update today, and it that update was like 2 years later. I never update my Mac, and now I can see the repercussions. So okay, back. What we'll do is we'll begin with an introduction. So Mohit and I guess we've met a couple of times when Mohit was involved with GDG New Delhi's events when he was in Noida. And then we've been in touch. He has been an organizer with, I guess, GDG in Dubai also. And right now he's working as a developer advocate with Realm, which is also related to MongoDB. So you understand the kind of developer ecosystem he is shaping up, and the amount of feedbacks that he might be collecting as a developer advocate, and the amount of influence he might be spreading as a part of what he does. So lots of things to gain from him. Make the best of this session. whatever questions you have, anything that you want to ask, feel free to. We might invite some of you on the stage, but just to get a check on the activity from everyone. So here, I hope everyone has had a breakfast. So what did you have for breakfast? If you haven't, you're having brunch, you are still sitting with popcorns, you can mention that. And I'll probably fill in my response. So we'll just do every poll for maybe 30 to 45 seconds and we'll close it to see the results. And please do ask questions in the Q&A section. You have a queue at the bottom right of your screen. So ask over there. You can upvote everyone else's questions over there so that Mohit can pick it up. Mohit, I'll be joining in again and again in between the sessions so that I can disturb you and ask all those questions. And but yeah, mostly for that. Okay, so we'll stop the poll. 27 responses. Let's see. Everyone can see the results. There is bread with butter and milk, burger, homemade, chila, coffee and poha, desi khichdi, dhokla, few bananas, nothing, parathas, potato chips, pulses. Quite interesting. So now everyone has ideas of what everyone has had, and you can also get make something different for yourself tomorrow. Come back to this page, check out the poll results, and probably cook something for yourself tomorrow. Okay, so now finally, repeating the rules. Please do not delete anyone else's messages. Please be respectful. A friend of mine is unable to see this live session when he came here using email link. A blank screen is showing up. Jayesh, can you please ask them to disable all the Chrome plugins or anything that they have installed? It might be due to an ad blocker or anything. And if they're not using Chrome, please bring them to Chrome and it should be working. So yeah, if it doesn't work, I guess it is 100% some Chrome plugin that is stopping them to do, or some restriction in their OS that they have placed. So we've created a permutation combination of all the issues that are popping up. Apparently, people are very, very concerned about their security. So they have even disabled cookies a lot of times and JavaScript also. God help them on how JavaScript enabled website work on their systems. All right, over to you, Mohit. Let's begin with an introduction and then we can begin with the code lab.
Okay. Hey, thank you everyone. Especially a very big thanks to Arpan and GDG Delhi for hosting me in. I'm really grateful for being on the platform. So I'll quickly share my screen, and from there itself will follow my introduction and other things. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay. So I hope everyone would be able to see my screen now. Okay, perfect. Great. Great to hear that. Okay. So so today's agenda of the day is Kotlin multi-platform. We'll be talking a lot and working, doing something on the ground to learn and understand how Kotlin multi-platform works for mobile and how you can create your first mobile application with it. So let me reset everything. Yep. Okay. So this is yeah. So this is the agenda for today's talk. Um, it's a small agenda. Most of the times, the presentation will only run for around 30 to 40 minutes, wherein I'll be trying to help you understand the basics of the Kotlin multi-platform and how to get started. And post that, we'll get into the actual hands-on coding, followed by a small Q&A session. The aim with this talk is that any developer who has a basic experience of building mobile apps or even writing anything on Kotlin should be able to grasp from today's session. So somebody asked whether it's for the beginners. Yes, definitely for the beginners. But more importantly, it's for the people who have just basic programming experience. That's all is required for this session. Okay. So now let's move down to the first part. Little introduction to myself. I'm Mohit. I'm from Indore. I've now recently moved to Dublin, Ireland. I've been mobile developer till from 2010, and since then I've been developing mobile apps. Currently, I'm working with MongoDB as a Realm developer advocate. Prior to that, I was working with Dubizzle in Dubai, which is OLX out there. That's a brief history about myself. You can reach out to me with my Twitter handle, Code with Mohit. You can also scan this QR code, which will help you to ask questions or stay connected with me. Also, at the end of the session, I'll be sharing the slides and the GitHub repo and everything on my Twitter handle. So stay connected there. Okay, so what is Realm? Since Realm is a sponsor, I'll do a little sponsor things. Okay, Uh, so what is Realm? So Realm is basically an open source mobile database. Okay, which is object oriented database. So what does object oriented means? So normally databases are like SQL, non-SQL, relational, non-relational, wherein you're trying to split them into tables or documents and put it and save them. But Realm is a very different kind of a database. It's mobile-oriented database where mobile devs mostly need relation with their objects. So it's an object-oriented database. It is primarily built for people who want to save or build applications with a notion of offline first. They want their applications to work in all the cases. So it is designed for those people. And if you really like Realm and you wanted to share your data with the internet as well, we have a functionality which comes out of the box and which has cool features like functions, authenticators, triggers, support for GraphQL, etc. And this all comes for free. So as said, it's an open source database built for mobile developers who want to build offline first application. We are available on all the major platforms: Android, iOS, React Native, Unity. So web development. So whatever kind of development you want, Realm will be there to help you out with that. Since we are available on so many platforms, you will also understand why Realm has recently introduced its KMM SDK, which is currently in alpha, soon going to be beta and public. So stay connected and try to understand how Realm is also leveraging KMM for its own purposes. Okay, so as Arpan said, we have some swags here. Few rules for getting the swags. First, as Arpan mentioned during the session, please tweet out using these Twitter handles and hashtag. I would request you to add all of them so that it will help us easily identify what to do, whom to select and whom not to. Also, at the end of the presentation, I would request you to create a small project using KMM and share the GitHub repo. Okay. Based on that, you will get some additional goodies. So let's get started now. Now let's try to understand why KMM, like what was the need of KMM and why everyone is talking about it. To understand about KMM, we'll have to go a little back into the history of the mobile development. So mobile development has been there for, I'll say, almost a decade now. Okay. And I've been fortunate enough to be there since the start of the journey. Okay. So I've seen that since the very initial days, people have been trying to solve one problem. They always thought of building mobile apps for all the platforms: iOS, Android, Windows. At that point of time, Windows was also there getting traction. So they all wanted to build mobile applications for all the mobile platforms, but they don't wanted to create different code bases. They wanted to create one application with one code base that can run on all the platforms. So a lot of approaches came in to solve this problem. But if you try to understand why they were trying to focus and understand, trying to build something like this, it was well with a very simple notion. When you have three platforms, you'll have to write code for three platforms. You need developers accordingly. When they'll write code, the lines of code will be accordingly three platforms, right? So 3x of lines code. When you have 3x of lines of code, definitely there'll be some bugs, right? Or there you'll have to maintain those code bases. So you need thrice the effort. Okay. Now, all this collate to into one thing: thrice the money, right? Because you need more developers because they'll have to write more code, and then you need someone to fix the code on each platform or to maintain all of them. So that's kind of a problem. So they were all trying to think, okay, why not let's build one code base that can run on all platforms. So we need less developers, less lines of code, less maintainability issues, and all those stuff. But from a developer perspective, if you'll think, you'll also understand that why they were trying to do this, because they were trying to um, follow a pattern called don't repeat yourself, right? Because ultimately, the crux which you're trying to emulate on all the platforms is almost the same, right? The application remains almost the same. It's just there are a few minor changes, the programming language changes, and everything. So you're kind of repeating yourself. So they were trying to understand how we can avoid, repeating ourselves. Okay, so just give me a second. Let me disable my notification. I accidentally forgot to do that. Okay, cool. Okay, so so these were the platforms which were available since beginning. Many of them you will be aware of that. Uh, the old ones are PhoneGap, Cordova, Ionic, Qt, and the newer ones are definitely React Native and Flutter. Okay, so all of these platforms are trying to solve the same problem with the same mindset. Okay, but in my opinion, except for the latest one, all of them were making problem more complicated. Okay, because the kind of approach they took was not very much scalable. So it was very good for building an MVP product, but not for a full-fledged product like OLX or or Naukri.com or something like that, right? So it was very hard for in terms of scalability, because the platform was buggy, there was performance issues, there was low community support. So if you wanted to build something very unique, then you might end up getting no solution or support for that, because there are no plugins or anything like that. So you might have to ditch your project and start fresh from another platform. But these all changed when React Native and Flutter came into picture. And there was a reason because of that, because it was supported by two major companies, Facebook and Google. So things have definitely changed. But when you'll try to understand, all of them trying to build and go in the same direction. So if I'll try to rephrase the problem, it would be, I want to build a hybrid app that can run on mobile, all the mobile apps, all the mobile OSs, but I don't want to compromise on my performance and interaction. So interaction should be also native to the platform specific. So I don't want to feel that Android user is feeling that this app is like an iOS app. He doesn't know where the common interaction and patterns are following. Okay, now I'm trying to switch. This was from the perspective of a business owner who is trying to build all the mobile apps. Now let's try to understand from a developer perspective. So from a developer perspective, whenever you ask him to build any feature or any mobile app, it will have primarily three main components: the UI, logic, and the data. Data means you're trying to get some data from your remote server or from your local DB. Once you have that data, you're trying to process that data. Once the processing is complete, you try to show that data on the UI. And it goes likewise. Once the data is shown, user interact with it. Based on some logic, you filter that data and then push it to the server again. So this is the flow of any mobile application. But what I was trying to say, don't repeat yourself. You'll also understand that this has been replicating across three OSs, right? Everyone is doing almost the same except for the UI part. UI part keeps on changing depending on the design library or the common acronyms or the notion of the platform. But the last two components almost remains the same, right? And it could also happen with you, like if you have been working with in a mobile company, you will feel that, hey, my counterpart iOS developer has built the same feature, and what if I could just simply, cut paste his code and reuse it in my Android app? Or likewise, the iOS guy can also feel, okay, Android guy has already built this feature. Why don't I just share this code? But you can't simply do that, right? Because the platform doesn't allow you. Programming languages are different. Even if you overcome the programming language challenges, the underlying framework will not understand how to behave to different changes and react accordingly. So there was a lot of problem around that. And for lazy people like me, I always wanted to, reuse as much as possible. So that's my personal approach around that. So from a developer perspective, you also understood this problem. Okay. So at the end of the day, what I will say that everyone is trying to focus with one thing, that most of the applications have 70% logic and 30% UI. So why not we build something, wherein the logic part remains the same for all the mobile apps, irrespective of your kind of platform you're building, but you get a flexibility of building the UI in your own in your own technology language or in your own framework, because that is the only moving part from iOS to Android or to desktop or anywhere else, right? So that's how everything is correlated, and this is why I mentioned earlier that it's trying to enforce people that don't repeat yourself. Okay, so this is where a Kotlin multi-platform comes into picture. It has a common module wherein you can write all your common logics and everything, which gets exposed to platform specific bundles. Okay, here you can say Android bundle or iOS bundle, wherein if you want to do some platform specific things, you can do there. And this whole package is exposed on the UI. So then you can use your favorite libraries, like say, for example, XML to build UI or Jetpack Compose or Swift UI, whatever you want to use, you can just use it. So this is the whole notion or idea of Kotlin multi-platform and KMM. But that's not all. Uh, Kotlin multi-platform is also available on other frameworks as well. So you can build your web-based applications. You can use your build your desktop-based applications with Kotlin multi-platform. So it's not just limited to one horizon. It is a very big framework which allows you to build for all the platforms. Since most of us are mobile developers here, we'll be talking and focusing mostly on Kotlin multi-platform for mobile. Okay, so now you understood what is the need of KMM. Now let us try to understand what is KMM. Okay, so if I try to summarize what is KMM in my own words, I will say it is nothing, just a collection of bunch of modules written in Kotlin. Okay, so in Android you'll see that nowadays a multi-modular architecture is being getting a lot of hype. People build different modules and different libraries are very, they'll try to segregate the code. So KMM is also something like this. It is nothing but a collection of different content modules or libraries wherein you write different specific code. So on the center, you see the Kotlin common module wherein you write code which can run on any platform irrespective of its technology or OS type. Okay. Over the top of that, there are different wrappers. So for mobile, there is Kotlin Native, which supports iOS and Android both. Okay. For JVM, or you have Kotlin JVM. For a web base, you have Kotlin JS, etc. Okay. So all these wrappers collectively gets exposed, help you build Kotlin multi-platform applications. Let's move ahead. Okay. So if you'll see the project structure, when I'll briefly we are going to the hands-on. So
Okay,
wherein
with just a small thing. Sorry to interrupt. I guess there are a couple of questions related to the tweets. So probably since the slides are going on, I was just going to. So just basic questions. Will they get a T-shirt by tweeting also, or will it add to their probability of winning?
so it will definitely add to their probability. So
Mhm,
first few of them will definitely get it. Okay,
mhm.
but most of them, so as you mentioned earlier, or on the chat as well, will be want to support you when you learn something.
Yes.
Okay, so definitely if you're building your application, you will definitely get one. Okay, but if you tweet it, your chances of getting highlighted will also probably increase. So keep
Amazing.
tweeting and sharing the invite.
Super cool. And Anjali has asked, unable to find Realm on Twitter. Anjali, you can just find @Realm and like in the search, and you'll be able to find Realm. Or you can just go to twitter.com/Realm and you'll be able to find them. It is there. Let me share the URL. Please don't use the Q&A section for chat. I have just opened it. You should be able to find it. All right. If anyone has any questions till now from the slides, this is the moment. Then we'll move forward with the project structure. Okay, we'll count back, countdown of 10, 9. Okay, Rishabh is asking, does KMM work similar to Flutter?
So, okay, what do you exactly mean by a work similar like Flutter? Like Flutter also is trying to solve the same problem, okay, but it is built with a different notion or a logic, okay. In Flutter, when you're trying to build an app, you're using one code base and you're trying to build that code base very close to the byte language or the platform understandable language, low level languages, so that you don't get performance hit. But still, there is some interaction problems. You'll have to, create plugins for that. So let's say, for example, you want to use maps. You'll have to use a maps plugin for that. Okay, and likewise for other things. So let's say, for example, you want to create a calling app. You'll have to look. Okay, is there a module which helps me get all the call details for Android, iOS, and web? Okay, so you'll have to look accordingly for that. But KMM is altogether different. It says that write all your common things or common logic in one language, and then I'll let you write your own business logic or platform specific code in a platform specific language. So you don't have to rely on the community just to help you out start building the project. Does this answer your question?
Okay, cool. We'll take the next one. Just two more questions. One is, do we have to build this project structure on our own? Rahul is asking.
Um, don't worry. As I'll go forward, I'll help you understand how to get started. In there, you'll understand you don't have to manually create everything. Most of the things are already done for you if you have Kotlin multi-platform plugin available on your Android Studio. I'll walk you through that process, so don't worry on that.
Cool. And the final one is, Kotlin already had support for Android as a language. Android as a language. Okay. Does KMM just extend it, or is it a different framework altogether?
Um, I'll not say it's kind of a different thought process, actually. Okay, it doesn't extend it, or I'll not say it's a different framework. It's kind of a different notion altogether. Okay, but keeping in mind that you're letting developers build what they love to build. Okay, so still you can write everything in Kotlin. Okay, do whatever you want, and there are certain things which, so in short, you don't have to learn anything extra to learn Kotlin multi-platform. That's what I'll say.
Amazing. Super cool. Let's continue, Mohit. Thank you for answering the questions.
So,
Just before that, one poll. Have you installed Android Studio on your systems? And then another one for Kotlin, for KMM plugin also. And we'll stop in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. And the next one. Okay, 100% yes. 40 people have said yes for Android Studio. Amazing. Super cool. Claps. That's great. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Results. Okay. So, few people are asking, I need help with how to install the KMM plugin. So Mohit, probably you can share your screen just when you start with KMM, and we can take them through it. Mostly people have installed it. Those who say no, please try it on your own. While Mohit is displaying the slides, you can probably split your screen, watch this, and do that also. All right. Thank you, Mohit. Please continue.
okay, so as I was saying, this is the basic structure of any KMM application. Okay, so, as I mentioned you earlier, it's nothing but a bunch of common it's a bunch of Kotlin modules plugged together to build one common code base. Okay, why my slides are not going ahead? Just give me a moment. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see here, this is the shared module as which I was mentioning you earlier, where you write all your common logic or common business things in one module. And over the top of that, you can see two different modules. One is Android and iOS, wherein you write just UI specific things with respect to both of these platforms. If you'll try to, if I'll dig deeper into the shared module, as I told you, there will be some cases wherein you want to do something specific to each of the platform. So you can further split them into three modules. One is the common, and over the top of that, you can write one as iOS main and Android main, wherein you'll be writing Android and iOS specific business logics there. So one of the common business case which we'll see and also implement, which will help you understand where would be the situation wherein you want to use these module within the shared module. One of the important concepts which is primarily required to understand how to split code based on the platform is with the help of the notion of actual and expect. So what is this mechanism altogether? So let's say, for example, you wanted to understand if your mobile application is running on iOS and Android. How will you know that? Right? You need to have some underlying platform support to help you understand what is it. Or let's say, for example, you just want to uh, build a unique integer, a unique UUID, right? iOS has its own way of building UUID, Android has its own way of building UUID. So how do you do that? One of the common way of doing it could be, we can say, okay, why not I implement an interface and then I'll write uh, interface related. I'll implement those interfaces in my two different modules, which will help me understand what is the platform specific implementation, and I'll move forward with it, right? But in in the KMM world, there is a better way of doing it. You can use the keyword actual and expect, which can help you differentiate what is the platform specific code and what is generic code. So how does it work? So basically, what you do is you define an expect keyword on the common module, which you say that, okay, it's kind of an interface wherein you say, okay, this is the common thing which is exposed to everyone. And then based on that, you write your actuals. Okay. So in short, you write your implementation for that in your respective modules with the keyword actual before it. This keyword is actual and expect is supported for all the Kotlin modules. So functions, class, enums, etc. So you don't have to worry for that. With an actual and expect will be supported for all the types of Kotlin supported platform variables or not. You don't have to worry for that. So as I was mentioning you the earlier, this is one of the examples. Okay, so this is the this is the common module wherein I'm just want to print the random UUID. Okay, and now I want to write Android specific implementation for that. So I can write my Android specific implementation with the word actual, and then I'll define, okay, use the Java util package to print the UUID. For iOS, you can do the same, right? You'll define your actual, and then you can use the foundation framework, and inside that you can use NSUUID to print your UUIDs. This goes more and more complicated, and we'll see it further. Okay. I'll skip this part because it's kind of a repetition and we are running short of time. Okay. Okay. Now, another one of the benefits of the Kotlin platform was the suspend functions. All of us would, if you have been programming in Kotlin, you will understand that suspend function is one of the key features of the Kotlin language, because it redefined how to do asynchronous programming. So they made sure that this functionality can be further exposed to the Kotlin multi-platform framework as well. And You can use it in whichever libraries whichever frameworks you want to use, say JS or iOS, etc. Because there you don't have this notion of suspend, right? So you don't have to worry whether it will work for you or not. You don't have to worry. The Kotlin multi-platform does that automatically for you. So in this example, you'll see that I have written a small function which says load my URL. Okay, and now when it gets exposed or when it's got called into the iOS framework, okay, as you mentioned here, you will see it is returning as a callback function. Okay, so don't worry, you can still use your favorite coroutines in whatever languages you want. Just leave it to Kotlin multi-platform to resolve it for your convenience. Okay, but not just this, but there are multiple other libraries needed to build a mobile application, right? You need a library to get data from the internet. Then you need a library which can, deserialize or serialize your JSON. Then you need a library to store your data on the mobile phone and whatnot. Okay, so for few of these examples I've mentioned here, you can use Ktor and Kotlinix serialization library. These are provided and supported by Kotlin itself, which can help you get the data from the internet. For saving the data on your mobile phone, you can use Realm. It is also a multi-platform library. And for all other use cases wherein if you want to explore, you can go to this GitHub repository, which has a collection of all the Kotlin multi-platform libraries available. So now let's get started and try to understand how should I build my first KMM application. So some of you was trying to understand. I haven't installed the KMM plugin. I don't know whether I'll have to create this project structure myself or not. So it's very simple. You just have to install this plugin. It looks something like this. I'll also go into the demonstration stage and help you understand how to do that. Okay. Once the plugin is installed on your mobile phone, on your Android Studio, you will, when you create a new project, you will see a KMM template available for you. Once the template is there, you can just select or modify as per your requirement. You can define the name of the application, the package name, etc. Okay, then on the next screen it will ask you some of the things related to the iOS and the name of the common modules. I'll probably recommend you leave them as what it is, because this is a kind of a standard which I have seen in most of the applications. People don't change these parameters at all. You can definitely change the dependency framework which you want to use for iOS, whether you want to use package for Xcode or you want to use Cocoa Pods. That's up to you, but try to leave the top three as it is. Once it's there, one of the big difference you'll see on your Android Studio is that now you will be able to run Android and iOS app both in the same Android Studio. So you don't have to, just to jump to the Xcode to run this application. You can just do it from the Android Studio itself. Once the project is there and built, this is the first default application which you will see, which is an Hello World application. Okay. Um, I think so. I'm running out of time. So what I'll do is I'll now move down to the coding part, and we'll try to learn all this with the coding directly. So just give me a second. I'll reshare my screen.
Till then, if you've not yet tweeted, we are waiting. And here's a poll. Do you want to win a Realm t-shirt?
I will definitely answer yes. Why not?
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, poll stops. Okay, 100% yes. So now you know how to do it. I've shared the message already, tweets with the tags, and sharing it again.
Okay. So first, let me
Some questions.
help.
Sorry, Mohit. Just.
Please go ahead.
So
Please
there
go
is
ahead.
like any Android applications using KMM as of today?
There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them which you can see which are using KMM. Most of the companies have already started experimenting and including KMM as their own thing. Like Realm has its own SDK using KMM. Okay, so
Okay.
you'll understand the kind of investment people are doing. It's not something which is
Okay.
there new.
Nice. Okay. Then another one is why Google promoting both Flutter and KMM?
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. So, I don't know the answer for that, to be very frank, what I'll say. But I see there is advantages and disadvantages of both of them. Flutter is a stable product now. KMM is not a stable product because, as far as my experience, I have not faced any implementation kind of a problem, but still the plugins are in alpha phase. So technically, when you're trying to use it alpha in a production ready app, people will say it's not production ready, right? So that's kind of a thing. But with Flutter, that's not the case. Okay. So I really don't know, but my biases is that when this goes into stable, people will start shifting from Flutter to Kotlin multi-platform, because one of the advantages which I see with Kotlin multi-platform is that developers won't have to learn a new language or a new notion altogether. They can use their existing knowledge to build mobile apps for both of the platforms. So that could be one of the notions why they are promoting both hand to hand, trying to understand which side wins and then ultimately go with that.
Amazing. Okay. Shreyansh asks, is it supposed to be done on mobile only or laptop would also be fine?
What do you mean by mobile? Like coding on mobile?
So yeah, basically, probably he's asking, do I need to run the app on mobile also, or like I run it on laptop itself using the emulator and it's fine?
No, emulator is fine. You don't need a mobile for that.
Okay. Kuber is asking, can you share the slides? Kuber, yes, he'll share it on Twitter also, and we'll try to, if they are available for everyone, we'll try to get it on his profile on Communal also, so that it remains there as a session.
Uh,
Naved is asking, yeah,
Arpan, do remind me after the session, I'll upload myself on the Communal as well because I
okay,
want to make best use of this platform.
amazing, thank you. So Naved is asking, for your iOS application, do we need Xcode for testing?
Yes, you need Xcode just for writing Swift specific code and running the emulator.
Okay. And finally, what are the differences between Realm and Room database? If this is a relevant question.
Um, okay, I'll quickly answer it. Um, Realm is an object-oriented database. So basically, you create an object and you save it directly. But in Room, that's not the case because underlyingly, it is built over the top of SQLite, which is kind of a relational thing, right? You still define your relation between two tables. You can write joins and all those stuff. So I'll not say it's an oriented database. Realm is an object oriented database. So just dump your object, get back your object, and do whatever you want. You don't need to, think of okay, really, what would be the relationship between these two objects? No, you don't have to think about that. That's the beauty of Realm.
Amazing. Super cool. I guess that answers everything. Once again, repeating for those who are confused what to tweet, you can choose anything new you are learning to tweet or just be happy about attending the session. And all the hashtags and everything are mentioned in my chat message. So you can check it out. Scroll up a little and you'll find it. All right, over to you, Mohit. Thank you so much for answering the questions.
Okay. Thank you. Now let me show you how do I do it. Okay. Okay. So for the people who have not installed a KMM plugin, I'll quickly walk you through. I'm using a Mac, and so the options will be a little different, but more or less they'll remain the same. So if you go to your settings or preferences, you will see the option of plugin. Just go here and write KMM. You will see something like this. Just install this plugin, and that's it. It's very simple. Just click on install and restart your Android Studio, and the plugin will be installed for you. So that's all is required in terms of installation. Okay, now let's try to see if we are trying to build a new project, how it will go. Um, I'm going a little faster to cover most of the things because I'm kind of late. So do let me know if I'm going too fast. Okay. So, so go here, tap on new, and you'll see a project template. As soon as you create that, tap on that, you'll see this screen. Okay. Once the KMM plugin is already installed, you will see an option of creating a Kotlin multi-platform app for you. So I'll say, I'll just select that and press next. Now I'll say, DDG really KMM. I'll just say KMM. Okay. I'm not changing any of the options because they are mostly standard. It's not required at all. So I'll just move forward with it. I'm not changing any dependency. I like CocoaPod dependency manager, so I'll keep it like that. And then I'll just simply press on finish. Um, Let it take some time. It will take some time to build and everything. Uh, till the time it's building, what I'll do, I'll bring another screen and I'll show you what happens once the building is completed. Okay, because I want you to understand how KMM has been built. So here, when you'll go here, so basically, as I mentioned you earlier, it is nothing but a bunch of Kotlin modules plugged together. Okay, so here you can see that there are different plugins which are being enabled. I've said, okay, this is a multi-platform. I want to use CocoaPods as my dependency manager for Android. I want to define a project as an Android library. For Kotlin X, I want to use this plugin for serialization and deserialization. Okay, so this is one of the part wherein you define what you want to do with this project. Okay, now the next block is the Kotlin block. In the Kotlin block, you define which all platforms you want to support. Okay, so here I've said I want to support Android, I want to support iOS, and then different type of iOS. So there is an ARM X24 as well, there is an ARM 64 as well, and there is a X64 as well. So you define the type of platform it's there. This is for the simulation as well, so I have kept it here. And then you define all the dependency related things. You don't have to worry about all this because this comes by and large default with the project. Yes, the syncing is complete, so I'll quickly jump to this project itself.
Mohit, just two people have issues. I guess if you look at the chat, one of them is having issues with CocoaPods in Windows, and Anjali is also having it. So Anshul is suggesting to use regular framework. It works fine for me. So is that the solution?
Yes, you can go forward with that.
Okay. So guys, if you're getting a bug or any issue with CocoaPods, just go with regular framework and it should work. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you, Mohit. Please continue.
Okay, so this is the fresh project which I've just built now. It has nothing here. Okay, on shared, what I was mentioning you earlier, I have only these three plugins enabled, the type of framework I want to support. Okay, now this is the most important part of this module. So here you'll see there are number of things written here. Right, why not? Okay, you'll see there are different things. It says common main, common test, Android main, Android test, and then iOS different architectures and its corresponding supporting frameworks. Okay, so these are all here. So what this is trying to tell you? It is trying to tell you that for the common module, this is the place where you'll add all your dependencies. So you can write like this, and you can say dependencies, and you can add whatever you want to add. Okay. For now, you can ignore the common. You can ignore these blocks. I'll put them at the end. Don't try to delete any of them, okay, because they have their own values. Okay. If you try deleting one of them, your project will still run, but you'll see errors while coding. So I'll recommend you not to touch anything. Keep it the way it is. Okay. Uh, yes, it depends on few things, so it has to be here itself. Okay. Okay. So this is main things. Okay. And now let's see. So here you'll see that I can see now KMM plugin is installed, so I can see iOS and Android app both. If you're in Windows, I'm not sure how you will install export, and you'll be able to get the iOS app thing for Mac, it's very simple, so you don't have to worry because I've already installed Xcode and simulator, so I can get that very easily. But I'll try to figure out how I can give you a solution for that as well. Sorry, I didn't think of that earlier because my mindset has been with the Mac for quite a long time, so I totally forgot about that. Okay, so let me just run this project. Let me build it and run it for now. See how does the Hello World application looks like. So So as soon as the project builds, you will see first application which will say hello world and it will type print the platform type for you. So how it is done, I'll explain you what I was mentioning earlier as well with the reference of actual and expect. So here you can see that I'm referencing this class called greeting. So I'll go to the greeting class. Okay. This is my greeting class. Okay. Just a second, I'm just waiting for it to build and run. Yes, okay, cool. Okay, and in the meanwhile, I'll also run the iOS simulator as well. Okay, so this is it's taking some time because two things are running in parallel, iOS and Android. So yeah, so now we can see the Hello World for Android has been built. Okay, we'll be building this application today, wherein we'll try to pull some data from the network and print it on the screen, which is nothing but a list of movies that are available. Okay, so for now, let's go back to the current application. So you can see I have printed hello Android 32. So how does it do? Okay, so now for that, you can see that I have, okay, okay. I'll come back to this error. This is a very important error, and I want to specifically show you what to do when you get this error. So let's park it for a while. So how does this hello world 32 comes in? Okay, so here in the main, I have done nothing. I'm just calling a function which gets the value of the greeting and prints on a text view. So no logic, nothing here on this side. The main crux remain on the Kotlin multi-platform shared module. Okay, so in the common module, I have defined two one expect, okay, which tells me the platform type. What is the platform type? Okay. Now that expect is being referenced in this class called greeting. Okay. So now what will happen from any external party, whenever I'll call greeting, it will call platform, which is kind of an expect. Okay. So kind of an interface, and it has its own platform specific implementation in iOS and Android. So it, let me split it like this and this. So in iOS, it has implementation like this. In Android, it has implementation like this. Okay. So for the external world, you're only calling the platform, and internally, platform has its own implementation for both. Okay. So that's how the Hello World application is running and building. Okay. Now, as I mentioned you earlier, you will see this error if you're running it on Mac. I'm not sure on Windows, but so if you see this error, what you'll have to do is you'll have to simply just add the Android Studio. You'll have to configure the Android Studio Java or JDK, which you can do by going into your Gradle.properties. So go here, add this line. Okay. Now you can say that I can do it by going to the project and setting it up to the right one. I have already tried that a couple of times. I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay. But this one works always for me. Okay. Although both of them are pointing to the Java 11, but still it gives me the error that I'm not using Java 11. So I'll recommend you that you set this property in your Gradle properties file. Okay, that will help you fix this problem. Okay, now that problem is gone. Let me rerun the application now. Okay, my simulator should come up shortly. Okay, it's taking time. Then no worries. Till the time it's taking its own pace to build it up, let's start coding the application. So as I mentioned you earlier, today we want to learn how to. Uh, it's almost there. Okay. We want to understand how to get data from the network and show it on the UI. So we will be building a movie application. Okay. There is a movie API, movies.org. From there, it's a free API. I'm using that API to get all the information available.
Okay, I guess Mohit was logged out. Let me just make him join again. Okay, not in room. Let's wait till he joins in. Don't worry, don't worry. We have another hour to go, so he'll just be back. You know, when you're compiling with a lot of code and that too running Android Studio, it does eat up your bandwidth. So yeah, let's just wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, I'll just call him up.
Okay.
Yes, you're back. Sorry, we
Sorry,
lost the
guys.
last 1 minute.
Okay. I'm very sorry about that. I didn't know that I got dropped out. Okay. So
No worries. Can we take up some questions till then also in between? Okay. So,
okay.
anyone, if you are
So I
stuck
hope
anywhere,
everyone is able to see my screen.
not yet, not yet. Once you share it again.
Arpan, can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Ah,
I guess your internet, your video quality went down. Yes.
can you see my screen? Okay. You can hear me, but you can't see me. Okay.
Can you hear me, Mohit?
Yes, I can hear you. Now, can you see my screen?
Not yet, not yet. I guess there is. Okay, let me try sharing my screen and see if that is visible. Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, it works from mine, I guess. Yeah, your video
Okay.
is quite blurred. Is it something got that's got to do with the internet?
Let me check my speed. Just give me a moment.
Okay, yeah, I've stopped sharing mine. Now you can try. Probably you can turn off your video, maybe if that is eating up the bandwidth. Yeah,
That shouldn't happen, but no, my bandwidth is good. But okay. Anyways, I'll try resharing my screen. My
sure.
bandwidth seems to be good.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Let me reshare my screen. Now, can you see these slides?
No, no.
Okay. So give me a pause. I'll just quick. What I'll do is I'll quit Chrome and I'll try rejoining it. Okay. Just give
Okay,
me a 2 minutes.
sure, sure, sure. Okay, guys, till then, let's see how to win the Google t-shirt. First of all, let's do a quick poll. And till then, we'll wait for Mohit to rejoin. The final poll, before which I'll, like, after which I'll tell you how to win those. Okay, let's see if anyone has a maybe or a no. And if you have any questions, this is a good time to put them in the Q&A section. And for this poll, we'll be doing extra 30 seconds. All right, we'll stop the poll now. Let's see. I hope everyone can see the results. Oh, there are people who are saying probably yes, and that's cool. Your focus should be on the knowledge part of it. So if I share my screen right now, okay, so yes, I do not have the photo or the picture, but I hope you are able to see my screen. Can someone tell me in chat? Okay. Okay, Mohit, I'm just sending you an invite. Yes, sent. So this is going to be the way how we do it. You will have to complete your project, then upload it on GitHub in open source. Then what happens is something like this. You have to go to Communal. Inside builds, you have to share your build. So since it is a project, choose a project, name whatever you are building, add Mohit as a teammate. Now, what is the email ID to add Mohit as a teammate? It is mohit7575@gmail.com. So do not disclose this email ID publicly. It's his personal ID. So you just need to add a teammate, mohit7575@gmail.com, and the link of your GitHub, and add a description, basic description of what your project does. And if you have screenshots, that would be amazing. You can add Android and other things for which you are building, iOS, KMM, and the hashtag KMM Workshop. So that should make it fine. And post that. Once you post it, Mohit will receive an invite to join. Once he joins in and he verifies that the project submitted is, according to what we discussed, you are eligible for a T-shirt. And we have more than 25 T-shirts to give away overall, both with Realm and GDG. So it could go up to 50 also. It depends. Yeah, I hope everyone is clear. Any questions on this? Any deadline? That will be Mohit's choice. Mohit, any deadline are we keeping on this?
Um, Look, the chances will be very high if you submit it by the weekend, by I'll say Monday morning. If not, then we'll keep waiting for you guys till next Wednesday. But after that, we'll not consider anyone else.
Cool, great. All right, people. Now let's have Mohit share his screen. Mohit, I'm unsharing mine. Yeah, can you please try now?
Sure. Fingers crossed. Yep, it's working
Yes,
now.
it is up.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll just minimize so that you don't see the mirror images again. Okay. Okay. So I was here. Okay, so now we are trying to build an app which will show us the list of movies available for both iOS and Android. Okay. Um, I'm not sure whether you guys saw this or not, but with Android Studio, I was able to run an export simulator wherein I was able to run my first Hello World application on iOS as well. Okay. Now, first step for this project is that we want to download some data from the internet, right? So for downloading data from the internet, we need to use some dependencies, right? As I mentioned you earlier, we'll be using Ktor for
Mohit, sorry, can you zoom in a little bit so that in case it is blurred for people, although it is coming out fine for me now. So if it is blurred, they will be able to. Yeah, they should be fine.
Is it good now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So as I mentioned to you earlier, we need to use some dependencies. So what I'll do is I'll create one dependency variable called Ktor version. Let me follow all the let me check what is the latest version. So latest version is 1.6.5. Okay. And I'll just copy paste few of the dependencies. Only two dependencies are required. Okay, so I'll add them. Okay. So this should help you out. Okay, so one of the dependencies is for the Ktor client, which I needed. Oh, sorry, my bad. I have copied the wrong dependencies. Just give me a moment. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me change it. Even if you're not able to copy paste right now, or like why I'm copy pasting, you're not able to follow it, don't worry, because all the source code and the presentation slides will be there on the Commodore, so you'll be able to do it. Okay, so just focus on the learning right now. Okay, whether you're able to understand it. Okay, so I have added the right set of dependencies. Okay, now Ktor helps you get the data from the network. Okay, but Ktor is not a generic library. It is a library which helps you take all the functionality with respect to the platform specific. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add the specific client of the Ktor for iOS and Android as well, so that at runtime it can understand, okay, this is the client for Android, so I can use that client for Android. So here, as I mentioned earlier, since this is an Android specific dependencies, I'll go here. I'll say dependencies, and I'll add my dependencies. So this is the Ktor client for Android. Now I want to do the something similar on the iOS as well. So I'll go to iOS main, because this is the area where I'll be writing all my iOS related dependencies. Okay, I'll be simply copy pasting the block which which is there on the top, and I'll be changing it a little bit. I'll just change it to iOS. Okay, so now I've added the Ktor client for both Android and iOS. Okay, let me summarize once again. In the common part, I have mentioned that I want to use Ktor, okay, and the Ktor serialization library and the logging library, and for the Ktor specific clients. So if you have been using Retrofit, there were different clients like OK HTTP client, or Apache client, and all those stuff. So something similar we did. We said in Android, I want to use Ktor Android specific client. In iOS, I want to use iOS specific client. Okay, so that is all done. Let me sync my project. I'm moving one step ahead as well. I'm also adding one more plugin. This plugin is for serialization and deserialization. Okay, so we'll add that. Okay. This is all configuration related things. So it's more of a copy paste. So don't worry if even if you're not getting it. Okay, because it's just the standard steps which needs to be followed. So I've added the class path for the plugin. Okay, so that my plugin could be recognized. Okay, that's it. Okay, now let us try till the time it's building. Let's try go here and try to build our project. So here I'll create a file, say network util. which will have my clients. Okay, I don't need a class. I can simply use functions or directly variable, which can help me do that. Okay, I'm opening my cheat sheet, so bear with me for 2 seconds. Okay, so we are building, we are using HTTP client. As you can see, Ktor is already started recognizing because we have added the dependency for that. So I've said, okay, let me use the Ktor block. Okay, now uh, now with Ktor, the things are a bit different. Okay, here to add any specific thing, let's say for example, you want to deserialize serialize with JSON or Mushi or anything, you'll have to install that plugin. So right now, since we are using the default plugin, we'll be using the serialization X. Okay, Kotlin serialization X. So I'll say JSON feature. Okay, I'll open the parenthesis and then I'll say serialization equal to, let me see, this is the right dependency for that. And then I can define my respective parameters correspondingly. Okay, so one of the parameters which I would like to say, well, let me simply copy the block to avoid errors. So here what I'm trying to say, I want to use Kotlin X serialization for all my JSON features. Okay, I want it to be printed as pretty. So these are all logging things. You can ignore them if you want. Okay. So this is one thing. Then another thing is the logging library. So for login, I'm using Akai. Okay, so let me copy the dependency for that as well. If you are having any troubles with the dependencies or you're not able to get it, please raise up the question. Okay, I'll be quickly able to get back to you on that. So I've added the dependency for that. So as I mentioned you, this GitHub repository, I'm using Napper, which is there by Akir itself. Okay, and be using it for the printing logs and everything. Okay, so for login again, I'll go. I'll say this. So here I'm defining. Okay, for login, as I did earlier, I installed the login feature, and in the login feature, I'm trying to use Napper and defining. Okay, whenever a log comes in, you print it in this manner. Okay, same goes for the object response and the request headers. Okay, so you can do that. So if you remember retrofit, in retrofit you used to build a retrofit builder, and you were adding HTTP dispatcher and all those stuff to just listen over the all the request and response. We are doing something very similar here. We're just installing the corresponding modules which can help us understand, okay, what is happening with the HTTP request and responses. Okay, so now my client is set up. Okay, so this is my client. This will help me just make HTTP request and response. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll create another package here. I'll say repo. In repo, I'll say movie repo. Okay. Now, first thing we want to read and write from the internet. Okay, so I'll be sharing you my key. So this is the URL. This is the URL of the movie from where I was able to find all the dependencies. So if you'll see here,
Just a quick question. Do we need to install any engine to our HTTP client?
no, you don't need to do that because earlier, as I mentioned you earlier, here you have already did that. So if you go here, see, where is it? Here you already defined it. Okay, so by default it will do that. Okay, in some of the blogs you will see with Ktor that you need to add your specific engines. Okay, something like this. Okay, but with Kotlin multi-platform you don't need that. Okay, because the platform will automatically decide which engine it has to pick based on the specific needs. But if you have been using this specifically for Android, then you could have directly used the Android engine. Okay, so this is my response. You can see.
Okay, one more. Is it compulsory to build a project same as Mohit sir is building?
No, the whole aim is that you should be able to learn and understand what I'm trying to do. That's it. Okay, the only thing for the quiz is that at the end of this project, build any project, but just use Realm as a library. Okay, whatever you are getting from the internet, save it on the local database using Realm. That's it.
We'll also probably share some ideas towards the end.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great, great.
Okay, so this is my request and response structure. You can see it is very straightforward. There is no hierarchical dependencies or anything. It's a very flat structure. Okay, so based on that, what I'll do is I'll create my model. Okay, so I'll create my model. I'll say it as, I'll create a file called models, and I'll say here movie response. I'll make it as a data class. Okay, now, okay, instead of opening here, I'll just open that same screen on the different window so that it becomes quicker for me. Okay, good. So it has a page variable of end, and it has a list of movies. Okay, so a list of movies. For that, let us create a movie object as well. So I'll say movie info. It's another data class. Okay, it has few variables. I'll be adding only two of them for now. I'm adding string. Um, let's copy this. I'll say the title. I'll say image URL. Image URL, and I'll say rating. For rating, I'll make it as float. Okay. So let me go back here. So here you can see there is a nesting object. First, we have an object which has results and page. And in results, we have list of results, that is the movie info. And I've picked this, this, and this. Okay. Now, if you have used JSON, you would have remembered there is a thing called serialization. You used to add some annotations. So something here similar here. We'll add an annotation, serializable, which will help the platform understand whether this class is serializable or not. Okay, and then you can add this serialized name as the key name. This is kind of an optional, but I'll recommend you doing that because it helps you segregate your code. So let's say, for example, in future your backend decides to remove or change the name of one of the key from, so let's say for example from id he wants to change it to underscore id because many platforms has underscore id. So in that case, if you don't write this line, you'll have to rename this variable, which will give you a lot of code changes. So just avoid all these things. You should definitely use serialization name, serial name, sorry. Okay, for serial name, for image it is poster path. So see here, I don't have to use the name which is there in the variable. I can use it as my choice. For rating, I think so it's rating only. Let me check once. No, it is voting average. So see, you can make use of your own names and it becomes very meaningful for you in a longer run. So here as well, serializable. Let's see, serialize name, page. And 3 tags results. Movie info. Okay, so now we have our model. Okay, now we have our model. We have our network client. Now we just want to make a network request. Okay, this is my URL for the request as well. So what I'll do is I'll create a function, say get list of popular movies. Okay, and I'll mark this as a suspend function because I love suspend functions. Okay, and I'll say that okay, let's use our network client. So let me see what was the HTTP client. Okay, then I'll say get. Okay, and let's ignore this for now. This will return the movie response object altogether. Here I'll define my URL as the request URL. I think so I did something wrong in the variable cannot be reassigned. What did I do wrong? Okay, it's not like that. I can simply do like this, and I can share my request URL. I don't even have to do all those magic and things. It will be done automatically, and I'll just add a return function here. Okay, cool. So now we have this. So since it's the code is written in repository, I'll move this out from here, and I'll add it to my network client. So movie remote client. You don't need a class. That's one of the benefit of Kotlin. You don't need to wrap everything in the class. Okay, in the repo, I can create a function, the suspend function. I can say get popular movies. Why I'm wrapping this up into this is just because later on, as I was mentioning you earlier, when you want to use a local DB, you can simply add a function here saying um, get local movies from local or something like that. So it becomes very easy for you in a longer run. Okay, so here I'll simply say get popular movies. No, get movie list here. I don't need to add a return as well. It's here itself. Okay. Now this is here. Okay, and this all code we are writing in the common module. Right now we are not doing anything in Android main or iOS main. I just now want to simply call this function from my Android. Okay, now in Android, since I want to use coroutines and as well, and this is an Android project, I'll have to add Android specific dependencies to its build class. See, there is no Android dependency with respect to coroutines added here. Okay, so let me grab the dependency and add it here. Also, I've been talking quite continuously. Does anyone wants a break? Please put it on the chat, and Arpan will let me know. So I'll stop if anyone wants.
Yes, sure. If you have any questions or need quick 2 to 3 minutes of break, we'll take a pause. Anyone wants a break? Yes or no? Or should I do a poll for it? Okay, 2 people are saying no. Sagar, Abhijit, Rishabh, Somil. Only 4 people are saying no. What about rest? They are already on break? No.
Am I too boring?
No, they are coding alongside. Okay, so where has everyone reached? Are you left behind? Or okay, Jayesh is saying that a break would be good to cover up this code. So till where have you reached? Anjali is saying, no, you are not boring.
Thank you.
Okay, so people, till where, like at what point are you lagging behind? If you can mention, probably we could give a quick 2 to 3 minutes of tour again through the code. Anywhere you left out, you forgot what to do there or anything. Otherwise, recording will definitely be available, but still, just so that you're able to complete alongside, that would be a bigger achievement for us.
I've just opened both of the screens. So if you have missed out something, you can do that. So this class doesn't have much. I'll open the network util. Okay. So if you're coding along, that will help you. Okay.
Okay, Manish is saying syncing Gradle, updating dependencies. That's quite far away. Android Studio. It's become a lot lighter, although now.
Yeah, it is. Just give me a second. I'll just fetch a glass of water for myself. So just give
Sure,
me a
sure.
second.
Okay, people, if you're left behind at a particular point, this is the time. Just write it out. Jayesh is saying, okay. Yes, Ishan, Anwar, we will definitely get the recording of the session. Maybe 5 minutes after the session, when you come back and refresh this page, you'll be able to play back the recording. But right now, if you get to ask live questions, so that is the best answer to from you can get from Mohit. So yeah, make the best use of this. Okay, there is one question from Neeraj. Okay, Sagar says studio took time for downloading the image. No worries, Sagar. As long as you got the concepts right, you can sit down and spend an hour and a half or two, and you can get it completed.
Yes, Arpan is absolutely right. Just follow the concepts because it's just the concept which is heavy. Implementation is very light. It is very light. Okay, so just follow on the concepts.
Yeah. Just one question from Neeraj. Is KMM, this is a KMM project where iOS and Android code base is hosted in same repository. I want to also know about KMM mobile library project, which can be imported in iOS and Android projects.
KMM
So
mobile.
KMM library as in CocoaPods for iOS and Android artifacts for Android.
So that dependency we have already mentioned here. Uh, we have already defined that we'll be using CocoaPods. And with respect to the CocoaPods, what file and everything is required, we have mentioned it here. That's all is required from your side. Rest, the framework will do it automatically for you. If in case, if you're on Mac and if you're finding trouble downloading the dependencies with pods as well, I'll recommend you first install the Xcode, okay, and then run it. Okay, so or else what you'll have to do, you'll have to go on internet and find the respective dependencies and install it manually. But if you do it the other way around, like you install Xcode and then run this project, those dependencies will be automatically installed for you. So it kind of saves some effort.
Cool. Anant, yes, we can upload the same project on GitHub after building, and you can share it over here in builds section of Communal and add Mohit as a teammate. So it will display that you and him both built it together. Neeraj is asking one more question. Could we be able to extract the shared module generated out of this project and simply use it in another project?
Yes, you can. Definitely, why not? At the end of the day, look, everything, the whole concept of Kotlin multi-platform is that reuse as much as you can, right? So things are moving. So you can extract this out separately and use it in your other projects as well.
Amazing. All right, cool. Let's begin. Thank you, Mohit, for answering.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for giving me a 2 minute break as well. And accidentally, I quit my Android studio. Let me reopen it.
Okay, no worries.
Now I understood the value of control Q, and it always used to warn me. And I said, okay, I don't need that warning anymore. Okay. Thankfully, it opened up pretty up quickly. Okay. Um, okay. Now, as I mentioned you earlier, we have created a network repository. We are able to down. We have written a network client which will be downloading movies for us, and we'll be accessing that from the mobile repo. Okay, now let me go to the Android project and try to access all that information. Okay, so as I mentioned you earlier, since in the Android project there is no dependency related to coroutines added. So what I did while I was chatting with you guys and solving your questions, I did few extra things. No, I didn't. I got lost actually. So what I'm doing is I'm copy pasting a bunch of dependencies. Okay. Okay. So for now, focus till line number 27. Okay, ignore the rest for now. Yeah. Focus on this. So I've just simply added the coroutine definition for that. Since I also love view models and compose, I've added the dependencies for that as well. Okay, these are the dependencies for compose and view model. Okay, let me configure the project accordingly so that I can use compose as well. Don't worry, even if you don't know compose, okay, you don't have to worry. It's a very straightforward concept. I'm just using compose in this reference so that I can quickly show you the right information in a very short span of time. Okay, so I'm just copying a few more things. These are mostly dependency related stuff. So what I did was saying added compile time dependency saying which version of Java has to be used. Then I've configured the similar for the Kotlin as well. Then I've enabled the compose enable. I have enabled compose. Similarly, these all configurations are respective to compose. I've enabled compose in my project. That's all is required. I don't see any more errors. Let me sync it. Till the time it's syncing, let me write some code just to fetch our information from the rep. So I'll say movie repo get popular movies. Since it's a suspend function, it will give me errors. So for now, what I'll do is I'll write it as blocking just for the demo purposes. Never do that in your practical scenario. People will hate you if you do that. And I'm saying log E. Here I'll create a tag, say main activity. Okay, sorry, my bad. I forgot to export this. So return type was movie response. So I'll say movie response. Okay. So now you'll see that I have movies here. So what I'll do is I'll simply paste the count here. Okay. And now let us run this. So till the time it's running, let us build this project the way it should be built. Okay. I'll create my view model. Arpan, can you just ask people whether shall I build it with the using a view model or without it?
Okay.
Because that's another concept. If people are already aware, then I'll use it. If not, then I'll skip it and I'll build it the raw way.
Okay. Two people are answering with view model. So let's go with it, I guess.
Okay. Now I want to access my repo here. Okay, so I'll say function get movies. Okay. Since it's a view model, I'll use everything in the view model scope, and I'll say uh, I'll define a variable. Few of the things like I'm adding the repo instance here directly. These are not idealistically done the way I'm doing it right now, but for the sake of demo and keeping the scope as short as possible, like focusing on the main crux, I'm doing it. Don't take it as like a bible of doing things like this. Once this is there, I want to have my results. Okay, in the meanwhile, we just ran our project. Oh, I forgot to add the internet permission. So because that was running and that got crashed. So let me add the user permission for internet. And I think so the error would be the same. Yeah. Permission not there. I'm not I don't I forgot to add the internet permission. Okay. So the one which is running right now, that will tell you whether we are actually able to hit our repo or not in the logs. Okay, so it's saying some errors. Kotlin, okay. Field underscore ID is required, but it is missing. Okay, so that means we messed up something in our models. Oh, for showing you, I added underscore ID, but I forgot to remove that. Okay, so I'll just remove that. Now that should work. Yep, hello world is there, but where is my log? Okay, my log is there. I'm able to access 20 results. Okay, so we have got what we expected. This was what is expected, so we are able to hit all the 20 results. Okay, now let's access it with the view model itself. While you're so if you're been programming and if you haven't adopted to the keyboard shortcuts, you should adopt them, because while you're doing live coding like this, you will understand how much time does it save for you. Okay, so I'll definitely recommend all of you to learn all the keyboard shortcuts. It's just a matter of time how that you will learn them, but initial efforts is required. There are few plugins as well which are there, which helps you learn them very quickly. So you learn them. Okay, so I forgot to define the scope here. Let me add a scope here. I'll say dispatcher dot io, and here I want to switch my scope, say with context, and I'll say dispatcher dot name. Okay. So this is here. Okay. Um, Movies is there, and we want to call this function as soon as the app opens up. So I'm putting this thing in the init. Okay, I'm making this as private. Okay, so now we have to simply observe over this. Okay, in the meanwhile, where is my Xcode? Okay, I'll open this project there as well. So if you're opening this in Xcode and if you're new to it, go to the project, then iOS app, and then be here. That's it. You can select the workspace. Hopefully I'm right. Yep. Okay. Now let it run for a while. Okay. I just opened it so that it can do its own building and everything. We don't have to wait when we are actually coming to the iOS side. Okay. So this is done here. Now let me just access this information here. Okay, so in my here I'll see the private one view model, the main view model. Okay, minimize, minimize. Okay, view model by view models.
Okay, I guess Mohit got dropped out again. Let me just call him up. There might be some internet flicker. Just wait for 2 more minutes. All right, Mohit is joining in again. Sorry for the disturbance. I guess there is something that is going on. If anyone recognizes what could be the issue, please do share. Okay. Okay, waiting for Mohit to join in, and then we will invite him back to the stage. Okay, it is saying this is not with Mohit. I was also removed by someone, or it was a glitch. I think it is a glitch. When the internet speed is flickering, it is removing people too soon. So probably that is something we need to figure out. Hey Mohit, I guess it is something to do with communal. We
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. ये अच्छा है ना कि आप लोग बताते रहते हो, बोलते रहते हो.
Okay, we are back.
ठीक है. हम लोग कहाँ तक थे? Can somebody tell me so that I can start from there? Did you guys were able to see the view model thing? Like I created a view model and you were able to see that? Okay, cool. Cool, perfect. So, so this was my view model. Okay. And now I have to just access this view model in my main activity. Okay. As I mentioned you earlier, Jetpack Compose, it's not part of this session. I'm just using it because code with Jetpack Compose is a little bit lighter and I can show you in one screen. Okay. So don't worry, even if you don't know it. Okay. Um, it is not a very big thing. It's just for the reference now. So what I'll do is I'll simply take the whole part of the UI and put it here. If somebody wants me to write, I can do that as well. I'm just trying to save time. So do let me know if you feel no, we want to see the detailed output. Do share your feedbacks on the chat. That would be really helpful. Arpan, do we have any feedback on that?
I
If
think
not, then it's fine.
it's fine. Everyone is continuing with things. So yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just adding the dependencies now. Okay. So I'll just quickly recap how many things I've copy pasted. Okay. So what I did, I first changed my set content as per the compose standard. Okay. This is how I make things in compose. Then from there, I have decided, okay, I'll be using a material theme. Now I want to use my view model, which I've highlighted here on the top, okay, to get list. So normally in Android, we write like this: view model dot movies dot observe, and then we provide life cycle owner, like, and then blah blah blah, right? In Compose, you don't have to do that. Simply write movies dot observe state, define the initial list, and that's it. Lazy column is nothing. It is the replacement of recycler view. But the biggest benefit is that you don't have to create anything. So you can see the amount of lines. So from line 44 to 49 is just declaration of my recycler view. And you can say this is my adapter, another 4 5 lines. Okay, so you can see that it really helps you out a lot. So I'll just go a little deeper into this. Okay, so I've defined my recycler view, or in Compose it says lazy column. Okay, um, I've defined this. I've defined, okay, I'll be using items. From where I'll get my items? I'll get my items from my observable, and I'm accessing that value. Once the data is there, what do I want to do with it? I want to show it in rows and columns. Okay, just switching my screen just to check one thing. Okay, my default microphone. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now you should be able to hear me more clearly as
Yeah.
compared to. Okay, so now once my data is there, I want to create rows for that, right? So then I am defining my rows here, okay, which is another composable. Now in Compose, everything is rows and columns. So I've defined one column. It has nothing, just one image view and a row which shows my title and my rating. Okay, so that's pretty much what I did. Now let's run this and see what is happening here. Hopefully it should run in one go. Yep. Okay. So you see, now we are able to do it. Okay. Now what we did, just to recap, um, we just created our client here. Okay. Our movie client. Okay. That fetches the result from the network. Okay. In the varied version, which will help you when the swags from the realm, is that you have to just save this information in the realm SDK. Okay. So that's another part. So now we just access that information from our repository saying get popular movies and then returning it back. Now I'm calling this function from my Android module here. I'm calling this from my Android module. Okay. And the rest code remains the same, the typical Android code. I'm using Compose. So I just said as an observable state, and then I'm passing it on. That's pretty much it. Okay. Nothing too fancy or jazzy here. Okay. Now let's go to the iOS part. Okay. Okay. So in iOS, I'm using Swift UI. Okay. I'm hiding this window. This. I'm doing this. So as I mentioned you earlier, that we wanted to use coroutines in the Swift, right? That's one of the benefits of using Kotlin multi-platform, that you don't have to change all the logic and the code accordingly, right? So what I'll do is, just to demonstrate you, I'll say here, my system is also taking a little hit because of so many IDs opened up. Okay, so get movies equal to See, now I'll be able to access the movie repo. Now let me create a function that will be much nicer. So get movies, and here I'll access my movie repo. Okay, I'm able to find everything, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and then this I quickly get rid of all this. Okay, and I'll say data and error block. And for now, what I'll do is I'll just print this message here, okay, just to demonstrate whether we are able to get the information or not. Okay. Sometimes the autocomplete doesn't show you everything, so don't worry. It takes some time, okay, but the things are there. Okay, let's say, here. One of the variations you can also do is you can also demonstrate like you're fetching, like say for example, here we are fetching 20 movies, right? So in iOS, you can fetch only 5 movies because one of the product owners might say you that, hey, I can't fetch all the movies in one go. My platform doesn't support it. So why don't you do the other way around for me? Like smaller count on iOS for me. So many errors. Let's copy paste. Okay. Now it should work. Double expression. See. iOS bites me at few places. So I'm trying to figure out what wrong I did. Alicia. Ah, functions in Swift are defined by func, not fun. So that was the problem. Sorry, my bad. So we'll just run this here as well. Replace. It will be running on iPhone 12. See, it says size as 20. So it means that now we are able to run the same code, like get the same information on both of the platforms. Okay. So fundamentally, the logic which KMM is proposing is working. Okay. So I'll go back to Android side. Okay. Now, Arpan, do we have some extra time? I want to share one more concept. If not, then
Yes, yes, we have all the time. I please.
okay, sure. I just wanted to explain one more concept. So we were talking about this Android module and the iOS module, right? So the actual and okay, fine, great. Okay, so the actual and the expect concept. So now what I want to do is, what I'll show you is that in Android I'll be fetching 20 items, but in iOS I'll be fetching only 10 items. Okay, since my Xcode has already, is it, yeah, is it still running? Okay, cool. So now what I'll do is I have to create an actual and expect. So what I'll do is here I'll go and I'll say use case. Okay, let me do an error, then I'll show you, I'll tell you how to fix it. So I'll say use case. because I'm adding a use case over the top of that. My business will be saying me do like this, do like that. So that's a use case for me. Okay, so I'm saying here get movies use case. I don't need class. I'll just say function get. So this is in common. So I want to define an expect. I'm expecting something like this. Get popular movies, which will return me movie response object. Okay. Let me see this. We have already seen one use case wherein we are using expect on the direct level. I wanted to show you on the different level. Don't worry, we are getting an error. If you'll try to hover over the error, it will say that this expect is not implemented. Okay, so the actual is not there. So that's why it's giving an error. So let's ignore that for a while. Now what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll say I'll create a class. I'll call it movies use case. Just make sure that you keep the name of the classes same. Use case, did I misspell anything? No. Okay. The original name itself is, so I'll define it as an actual. Okay, it will say me some errors. I'll ignore that for now. Okay, I'll copy this function. Okay, and from here, I'll just call my repo. I'll say movie repo. I call my popular movies and I will simply return this. I forgot everything should be suspend because we are in coroutine world. So this will be suspend again. Okay. Now, as I mentioned you earlier, okay, I want to, so this is Android. So in Android only we'll do it. We'll not do it in iOS. Okay. In Android, I want to make sure that I only show 5 or 10 results instead of the complete results. Okay. Let me implement the same on the iOS side as well. So let's stop complaining. Yep, it's there. So we have an expect and then we have the both actuals. But you see, it's still giving me an error, right? It says actual class has no corresponding expected declaration. But we have added it, right? See here, it's there, it's there. But if you'll see, fundamentally, we missed the package. The use case package is not here. So if I'll simply add a package, this is very annoying error and you will not get it in one go. Okay, so that's why I did it in this manner so that you can understand that you shouldn't do this. And let us recompile our project. Hopefully all the errors should go away now.
Neeraj is saying it's user case in common main. It should be use case, I guess.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yes.
The
Thank
code.
you for that. One personal experience which I'll share with respect to Kotlin multi-platform. Don't look at the errors much. Try to understand what is the reasoning it's trying to say, and then try to figure out what is wrong. So you're saying must be marked as actual. Yes, it has to be marked as actual. Why it has to be marked as actual? It's not required actually. Anyways. Okay, now see all the errors have gone. Let me show you on the top level. This is our use case. Okay. Now I was mentioning you that in one of the platforms you want to reduce the size of the movies. So this is iOS. Okay. So I think so. Destiny also wants us to reduce the list of results on iOS. What I'll do is I'll copy this. Okay. Now I'll just reduce the results on the iOS. I'll make a copy of it, and in movies, I'll say movies don't sublist. I'll just say from 0 to 10. Okay. So in iOS, you will notice that I will get only 10 results, but in Android, I should get complete 20 results. Okay. Now let's make the corresponding changes on both the apps. So on iOS, on Android, I came here instead of calling a repo. Now I'll be calling the use case. Use case. I don't need this anymore. Let me check whether I've created a class there or not. Oh yes, sadly I've created a class, so I need it. My bad. Yes, okay. And now it will start calling the right use case. Okay. Let me rename this as well. It's not a repo anymore. It's a use case now. Okay. So it's a use case now. Okay. So in iOS, in Android, it should show me 20 results, but in Android, it should show in iOS, it should show me 10. Now let me go and make the corresponding changes here as well. Okay, let me reduce this. Let me get rid of this. Oh no, what I did. Let me close all these windows. So here I'm saying popular movies. Instead of this, I'll say use case. Autocomplete here is not that great initially, so I'll have to stick with the copy paste. Okay, and let us run this app here as well. Is not in scope. Why it is not in scope? Now the error is gone. Wow. Okay. We need to see the console. We are more interested in console because we haven't printed anything here. Can you please run? It's launching. Okay. Yep. See, now here I'm seeing 10. If I want to simply change it, where is my Android Studio? If I simply go and change it to 5, it will work as well. Everything is going hand to hand. You don't have to wait for that module to compile and then come here. Okay, so this is really nice. Till the time it's building. So that was the last concept which I wanted to explain, that how to actually make use of actual and expect. Okay, so that will help you. In the meanwhile, it is running. So it will take some time. Okay. So I think so I've covered almost everything from my slides. The last thing, okay, please load quickly. Okay, the wrong section. Okay, So the last till this that iOS is loading, I'm just trying to cover the last section. One of the discussion that will often come up in your decision of moving towards KMM is that whether you should move forward with it or not, and what are the pros and cons with it. That's the last thing which I like to touch base on that. Okay, come on, come on, come on, scroll fast. My laptop is normally that not that slow, but because of so many IDs and everything running, it is also giving me trouble. Okay, hopefully iOS. No, it is still building. Okay, we'll ignore this for now then. Okay, so the time, so the decision when to use KMM. Okay, so that is a very big question which will come to you whether you should normally move forward with KMM or not. And if you decide to move forward it, what would be the advantages and disadvantages for it? Okay, in my opinion, I never felt there is a big disadvantage. Okay, I felt that advantages are more with respect to disadvantages. Sometimes you'll feel the pain of compiling or dependencies are not loading up. So yesterday night I was building something on my own for something else, and I was not able to find the dependencies for one of the Kotlin multi-platform library because I messed up one of the configurations. The Java 11 issue which I showed you earlier was also one of the configuration issues, which are sometimes painstaking and problematic, but it's fine. It is the part of the learning curve. So the only disadvantages which I see is that the API is still in alpha version. So technically, you can't say that you should go and use it in your production ready app. But as I mentioned, you Realm is already launching its production SDK with KMM, so you can understand the level of stability in the alpha version. The Gradle configuration is pain. Somebody was mentioning me during the start of the session that do we have to create this whole project by hand or not? I will never recommend you to do that, because if you do that, you will end up spending probably 2 days just to set up the right Gradle settings, because setting up the Gradle settings is kind of a difficult here because of the learning curve and how the platform behaves. So I'll probably recommend you not to do that. So that's another disadvantage in my opinion. When it comes to advantages, I there are a lot of them. Okay, few of them is I have written here. One of the biggest benefit is that most of the times when mobile developers are building mobile apps, there is a lot of conflict with respect to separation of concern. Okay, whether this should be there in the view model, this should be there in the repository, whether this should be there in activity or not. Now, with KMM coming into picture, this confusion has kind of reduced to a lot extent, to a certain extent, because first question you'll think whether I can reuse it in the Android in the iOS code or not. So then most of your code will go into the shared module altogether. So your code is now automatically getting separated. So separation of concern is already there by default. Another thing, for Android devs, you are using the Kotlin language. So it's not a big learning curve for you guys, but for Android devs, for iOS devs, definitely there is a small learning curve, but that learning curve is not that steep as compared to RX or any other pattern. Okay, because Swift and Kotlin syntax is almost similar. Few things move here and there. Like the problem which I did, I wrote func for function in Kotlin, but in iOS it's called func. Okay, so there are very minor details that has to be thought through when you're moving code here and there. So the learning curve is very low. There is no bridging required, because as you can see, we are building actually an iOS and Android app separately, right? So there is no concept of bridging altogether. So you will never face a problem that I don't get a community support for this, or there is a bridging performance issue with that. You'll never face that problem. Earlier, there was some memory related issues, but that has been resolved from past two release, I suppose. Okay, so if somebody says you there is a problem with the memory model with KMM, you can say that has been fixed now. Okay, I said here low commitment. You don't need to migrate your whole project to Kotlin multi-platform. You can just get started with your existing project. You can just add that to your existing project and move forward with it. So the commitment is also very low. So that's all I wanted to share for the day. Um, Thank you for your time. Um, you can reach out to me on the Commiddle or on my Twitter handle. And thank you.
Amazing, super cool. So thanks again for taking this session, joining in on a Saturday. And Mohit and I have been in talks for a long time that let's do a workshop, and finally it has happened.
Yes.
The exciting part is if you guys actually complete those apps, apart from getting the t-shirts, we can invite Mohit over for more such follow-up sessions where we can dig in deeper into the concepts. Or maybe if you want the same thing again, although the recording will be available, but if you think with a variation, maybe working on a particular type of application that you might want to develop together, so we could plan something with Mohit and do a session. He's always enthusiastic to help out the folks in the community, and would be a great mentor for anyone who's looking to learn this. So once again, I guess I can see if I search on Twitter, hashtag KMM, there are 220 tweets that have happened today. So
Oh, wow.
amazing. I guess if we were 5 years doing this 5 years ago, earlier in time, this would have trended already. So,
Yes, for
but
sure.
yes, again, that is a good amount of enthusiasm, a great amount of enthusiasm that we've seen. Just in case anyone wants to know those steps again, people were pinging me. Here is the way to do it. If you want to take a screenshot, go ahead, do it. You need to complete your project, put it on GitHub, and just like you put your products that you develop on Product Hunt or other websites. Similarly, any project that you build, you can show it off and add teammates to builds on Communal. So go ahead, do it. Once Mohit verifies it, we have 25 t-shirts on Android that we are happy to share. And obviously, for all those who have tweeted and are going to do this, you might find a t-shirt from Realm in your post mailbox. So keep your Twitter DMs, keep checking that. You might receive a message anytime on that.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. I was about to say that. Keep your Twitter DM open. I'll have to reach out to you for the addresses and everything.
Yep. Amazing. Super cool, man. Thank you so much once again, Mohit. Thank you so much, everyone who's been very patiently, going through the code alongside. And hopefully, we will get to meet offline again soon, and maybe do an in-person event with Mohit. And those things are basically a lot more exciting. And for the recording of this event, 5 minutes after this session ends, you can refresh the page and you'll find the recording here itself embedded into the page. And yes, have a great weekend, have a great time ahead, be safe, although things are opening up, but still take those basic precautions with sanitizers and masks. And soon, we might get a group picture in an offline event. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Open, for hosting me, and thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye. Have a great weekend.